Hello, I'm Dr. Kill, no relation to Dr. Zayas.
Hi everyone, I'm Crosspiece.
And we're here to show you how to play this game pretty wrong. So, we're starting off an ice cavern we got in here the last episode, and we'll actually be doing it this episode, so... not actually too hard to get in, just a lot of bomb hovering. Once you learn it, it's just a lot of hovers to get inside. The DQ stick is actually incredibly important because I cannot kill these things with the Kokiri sword. For whatever reason, they're just immune to it, so I actually need the DQ stick to kill them, and I'm using the power crouch stabbings. Weird little detail.
And there's lovely ice physics as well.
Yeah. I don't think there is a spot normally Young Link deals with that. I don't remember, like right off the top of my head, but yeah. It actually does cause a little weird stuff that I actually sort of forgot to show up, but I'll explain it later. I'll be skipping a lot of this. The ice cavern is actually a pretty short cavern. You remember how many rooms there are?
There's really not that many. It's about 5 or 6 or so, probably.
Yeah, that's about it. I'll be skipping a few. I will. Like up here is sort of the typical progression. You have to get up here. Normally you can just hop up here with Adult Link, but Young Link has to do a lot of weird shenanigans to sort of get up. I'll show how you can get up quickly. If you roll up here and target the wall while you're jumping, you sort of go flush with it, and it lets him get up. So if you're going to do it normally, you could get up to the map. That's the directions towards the map and the first blue fire. But we don't really need to go that way, or the way to the compass, which is sort of a different direction. We can actually just skip right through this little, right through this ice sort of wall here, pretty easily. So this is something only Young Link can do just because he's small enough. But you see how he's sort of popping into the red ice there? For one frame, he's actually sort of clipping through it. Again, it's because of the way the ice sort of interacts with the wall, and because of Young Link's small model size, you get some weird clips. It's not enough to actually force him through, but what I'm trying to do here, and I failed the first time, if you explode on the right frame, the explosion hits you when you're popping through, and it just shoves you all the way through.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so I time the bomb to you, drop it at a certain time, and then begin a slash, and then I actually jump slash out of that regular slash, which is something you can do, and it pops you through. So, a funny little bomb trick, again, doesn't only works as Young Link because he's small enough. As Adult Link, you need hover boots to get past that, and then you sort of shoot yourself out of the level with hover boots, actually.
Yeah, hover boots are quite fun, if I remember.
Yeah, in combination with like bombs and stuff, or even just slashes, like recoiling backwards from slashes, it causes a lot of... that's how a lot of clips happen when you're an adult. You just use the speed you get from recoils or bombs, and the hover boots actually sort of stores it, or keeps it, and it lets you get a high speed boost for a long time.
You actually move faster with the hover boots. I've always been curious.
What's that?
You actually move a bit faster with the hover boots on.
You don't move faster with hover boots. The key thing about them is that they sort of their acceleration and deceleration. Well, real quick though, I want to say that this ruby is easy to get because I just got it right there without having to melt the ice. The sword hitbox actually hits it. It's really good. So yeah, hover boots, they don't make you go faster, but they sort of store your momentum. So you keep your speeds for longer. You keep like a higher speed for longer.
Yeah, it kind of just makes you feel like you're going faster.
Yeah.
Suppose, yeah.
The thing is, like when you're recoiling from a bomb or a sword slash, you actually have a really high speed boost for a little while, but you don't really notice it because you lose all that speed right away. But the hover boost lets you keep it all, and that's sort of where all the glitching from that comes from. Like just for like a single frame from a sword slash or something, you'll have a really high speed boost. It's like the max you can sort of get in the game, just for that one frame, and then the hover boost lets you keep it.
Oh, are we going to be using that much in the this LP?
Unfortunately, no, because a lot of that's helpful for all these dungeons that I'm doing as a child.
Yeah.
So they'll use it a lot, like in regular speedruns, and just going through the dungeons as adult. But since I'm a child for a lot of the sections here, yeah, I don't get to use hover boots. It's a little sad. But I might be showing some stuff off in bonus videos like I did in Dodongo's Cavern.
That's cool.
So, this room, I did it actually pretty glitch-free. I did a couple of jumps that were sort of neat, but I basically had to do that legit. And the thing I didn't show off is that if you push an ice block and hold A, young Link will actually slide along with it. It's really funny.
Ooh.
Adult Link doesn't do that. I guess just because it's something they never accounted for, because you're not supposed to do this as a child.
Yeah, obviously.
So that's the other thing I mentioned. I just forgot. I actually didn't. I forget that it's a thing that can happen. So. And then I used the red fire, or the blue fire one time right there at the end. Although I could have just super slid past those ice blocks. I just didn't think about it at the time. So you can actually do the ice cavern with no fire. Getting the iron boots here.
Oh yeah.
Normally the Serenade happens after, right? You get the song.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's a neat little skip, and that skip is that the song just doesn't trigger as a child.
That's very helpful.
Yeah, it's just not there. So I mean I've satisfied the conditions to getting it, but for Young Link it just does not occur for whatever reason.
I'm sure we don't need it.
Well, I actually already have it. I RVA'd it, but it's just a song I wanted to mention that you can't get. I mentioned in the last episode that the Spirit song, the Requiem, is the only song you can get legitimately, sort of, as a child, and that's because, again, most of these triggers aren't there. So.
But I want to see Link just shift between various heights. That's always funny.
Yeah, it's a little silly. Again, I don't think there's any really way to trigger that. I don't know. There might be some obscure way that even I'm not aware of it. But for now, we're actually done with the Ice Cavern. Really quickly done. Again, it's actually a really short dungeon anyway, if you know what you're doing.
Mm.
Even if I was doing it without any glitches, you could do it in like 4 or 5 minutes, probably. It's a very short thing. It's not supposed to be like a full dungeon anyway, so.
Oh yeah, you can do that, can't you? God.
Yeah, I played Zelda's Lullaby in front of a Gossip Stone for a fairy. I think the Gossip Stone actually does tell you. So if you talk to the Gossip Stones, you would know about that, but I don't know which one.
I'll talk to the Gossip Stones and I've got something like game facts.
Yeah, like I know one of them sort of makes fun of the switch targeting, where you just press the button and it stays Z-targeted.
Mm.
They're like real Zelda players use hold or something. It's weird, but yeah, they're mostly game tips, and I think one of them tells you about playing Zelda's Lullaby for them. If you notice, when I walked out of the castle, I fell right into the moat.
Yeah, I was about to ask about that.
So once you get 3 spiritual stones, the Song of Time cutscene gets ready, and if you notice there, yeah, the moat was up.
Oh yeah.
Right there. So I have all 3 stones. I RB'd them into my inventory, so that sort of triggers that cutscene to pop up.
Mm.
The trigger is there. If I would have walked in front of the bridge, then it would have triggered, but I avoided it. It's not over the moat for whatever reason. It's just right in front of the bridge. So because of that it's the bridge is up until you see that cutscene, so that it'll just stay up. But you're never supposed to come out from the castle.
Yeah.
So it's still like that bridge isn't up. Like you can still walk out, you just can't get back in that way. But I have the song too, so.
Oh, you can just walk in, yeah.
Yeah. Getting Infinite Sword Glitch off the chicken. The cutscene for the chickens to get angry doesn't happen until it hits the floor, so I basically backflip while it's falling to the floor, and I don't hit. It doesn't have water collision during that cutscene, so I fell right into the well. I'm back here for a specific reason, and I have a fairy, so it's pretty reminiscent of what I did at the beginning. I'm actually going to do the same glitch that I did in the first episode. Were you going to say something? Sorry.
Just the concept of infinite sword glitch with chicken is just absolutely hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because, like, I actually thought it was kind of because you could just do it off the chicken, or you can actually get it and then just roll into the chicken and grab it at the same time. And it's just constantly slashing it forever, and it's just making a bunch of scared chicken noises the whole time.
Yeah, I thought the chicken was on fire, honestly.
Yeah, it looks really silly. It's just because that sword is hitting it like pretty much every frame while you're moving. So again, I did this in the first episode to get the slingshot. I'm doing it again off of the magic jar that dropped, actually, right there. Mm. Once you get the first magic jar, that cutscene happens.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the same. It works the same way as what I did with the stick. So I get hit during it, and I can move, and there's just a little jar in my face. I'm gonna be using that to get something. I actually mentioned what it would be. I don't know if you would remember, because it was just a really quick comment.
Nope.
Okay, well, I did change how I did the beginning. I mentioned that I didn't open this DQ shield chest.
Yeah.
I put a note in one of the videos. I really wanted to mention it, I just forgot. But I decided to not open it so I could do this glitch here. Or this version of the glitch, I suppose. I set it up, and I need to stand in front of the chest because it works. Because of Link standing in front of a chest, the variable changes actually right when you stand in front of the chest.
Yeah.
Not necessarily when you open it. So I'm setting that up. I just need to stand in front of it, and it has to be not opened. So for this to work, that's why I redid it. But it's also such a small change that I didn't sort of redo the entire first episode or anything. So all I gotta do to trigger it is jump in some water. And it says I got a pocket egg.
Oh, cool.
That's not what I got. So if I look at my inventory, I'll have the saw like I did before, but now I also have the Goron Tunic.
Yeah.
That gave me the Goron Tunic. That's all I needed to do here. I just wanted to get the Goron Tunic, and I didn't actually realize I could have done it until recently, which is why I changed it. I didn't actually know there was a magic jar in that pot.
And now we're going to Death Mountain?
No, we're actually going to the Shadow Temple right now.
Hmm.
The Goron Tunic is for later.
Yeah, with the way that this LP works, I wouldn't be surprised if you could somehow get to Shadow Temple using the Death Mountain or what have you.
There actually, I won't be showing it off. There is a way into the Shadow Temple from the Deku Tree.
Oh, cool. Of course.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to be heading into the Shadow Temple. Pretty I showed off how you could get in before. I'm just going to get in the same way. You'd be using the tricks, the slide. The thing I did before, I'm going to be doing it again.
And they're cutting grass by just staring at it.
Yeah, just to get it out of the way because it can ruin you. It can like ruin your ruin my setup, ruin the setup. So I'll try to explain it a little bit better. What's actually happening is I'm getting at a certain position away from that grass in front of me, and I get a bomb shoe out, and then using specific like stick movements, I roll sideways, right? And then while I'm rolling, I try to pick up the grass, and the explosion hits my shield at that time, and that causes this super slide. And so he's trying to pick up the grass still during that slide.
Yeah.
Because that's what causes a super slide. It's just trying to pick up something when your shield gets hit by something. It lets you slide, and then I get some vertical height, and then when I let go of the super slide, he teleports back to the grass because he tries to pick it up again. So because the grass is still loaded, he can still tell he's trying to pick it up, so he tries to pick it up, and it teleports you back. But it doesn't keep your vertical height for whatever, or it doesn't put you back at the vertical height of the grass. It puts you the vertical height of what you were at when you teleported back.
Yeah,
it's very strange.
It's all coming back to me now. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I did before. It's just I haven't really clicked it, so I didn't have as much time to explain it. But you get up here, and you can look right into the Shadow Temple. So if you just side hop, you're past like a loading zone, and you could just walk right in.
You can just skip the torches.
Yeah, but I actually have a way to open it legitimately, so I decided to just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I do know that you
Inspire.
can do this as a child.
Yeah, there's actually nothing stopping you from getting into the Shadow Temple as a child. It's right at the beginning. There's a thing that they say, oh, well, young Link can't ever get past this, so they never did anything else. But you can get in as a child, as you can see.
But you get stopped pretty early in.
Yeah, right at the beginning. There's this gap here. There's no way for young Link to ever get across a gap like this. You need that's what the hookshot target's for. However, I have a lot of tricks in my bag. So what I'm doing here is that backflip that gets me a good amount of distance. I roll into a bomb and then backflip at a certain time, and it lets you get a lot of distance backwards. So I'm already across the gap. They call that again. It's called a mega flip. There's a lot of actually minor variations of it. That one I actually did a sort of a tougher version of it right there to get more distance backwards. It's hard to tell, but in any case, they all more or less work the same way. You get hit while rolling by like a blast or just any sort of damage source and backflip at a certain frame, and it gets you a lot of distance. It's really fun. Probably one of my favorite glitches, just because it's so fun to do and has a lot of uses. But yeah, that's again, that's probably just one of the biggest barriers in here is that so much of this is focused around hook shots and hover boots that for Child he has to do a lot of bomb stuff to get around.
Yeah, imagine there's still plenty of ways around this horribly broken game, honestly.
Yeah, well again, most of it is just focused around bombs, just a lot of different ways. Like I could have hovered across the gap, it just wasn't as useful or as interesting, I think. I could have, just done various kinds of bomb hovers across. Much slower, though. So again, you can get hover boots pretty easily. I could have gotten them like really early on. I could have gotten them in the first episode, but I just decided not to. What does it just decide to wait a little bit, get it while I can finish the Shadow Temple, because you need the you need other stuff to finish the temple.
All right.
I set Farore's Wind earlier, just to make things a little faster. Farore's Wind lets you teleport back to where you set it, so it makes things somewhat quicker if you have to retread.
Yeah, I've been kind of trying to figure out exactly what kind of use I could use for Farore's Wind, but you just don't really need it all that much in the main game.
Nah, you don't. Especially once you have like more health. But the biggest use for me while doing this LP is that Farore's Wind acts as sort of a checkpoint. So if I get past the really hard part in the dungeon, I can put it there, and then I can save, and then it's there, and I can start off from there in case I screw up. But in normal play, you usually get lots of hearts, so you're not going to be dying too often. So you don't really have to worry about checkpoints that much. And the other one is, yeah, it's a little bit faster if than walking back sometimes. Another Mega Flip to get across, because normally you need hover boots.
Yep.
I guess one useful thing about Farore's Wind is that it does work sort of between dungeons. You could set it in one dungeon, and then use it in a different dungeon to get back.
Oh, right.
Yeah, again, I don't know how useful that would necessarily be for a casual player. Maybe if they get stuck in a dungeon and want to leave and check out a different one, I don't know. In a speedrun, it helps sometimes, because you can route differently. Okay, so this is actually sort of... behind that gate is sort of the end point of the dungeon.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to be skipping over there. So I'm actually skipping a lot of the dungeon, which is sort of unfortunate, but a lot of this dungeon is hookshot based, so it's actually very tedious to go through as a child. But what I'm doing here is that rolling into a bomb with those invincibility frames causes a lot of stuff. I've mentioned a lot of other tricks that do this. If you move the analog stick in a certain way, it actually really screws up your collision or your Link's model, and I could actually clip through the gate that way. If you noticed, if you saw.
Yeah.
That particular trick is very strange because it's hard to control. If you notice all those pausing, that was me changing the analog stick direction each pause. So it's something it doesn't actually have too much use, and it's really hard to sort of control it in a way that's useful. So it's not something you see very much. But I'm through the gate, and then from the gate I can just do a bunch of bomb hovers backwards to get to the other side. Yeah,
that's about 80% of the dungeon just done.
Yeah, this is the end point of the dungeon once I've passed that gate. It's necessary for me to hover across, or just to hover, because normally you're supposed to move that silver block down there. If I actually had gauntlets or something, even as a child I could move it, but I don't have any sort of strength upgrades. So there's like no way for me to like use it at all. So I just do a bunch of bomb hovers backwards. And these are bomb hovers that I haven't done before. They're just different ways to move, and these are the best ways to move backwards, sort of.
Navigate.
Yeah, I sort of drop a bomb to you at an angle and backflip at an angle, and that sort of shortens your backflip enough so that the bomb explosion can hit you, because you normally can't just backflip. There's a lot of really complicated nuances to bomb hovers. Enough that you actually try to avoid using them as much as possible, just because they're actually somewhat tedious to do in Ocarina of Time, and in Majora's Mask they're a lot simpler. You said you played Ocarina of Time 3D recently, right?
Yeah, I was supposed to mention, this boat actually looks pretty different in the 3D version, I think.
Yeah, I guess it's just a texture thing, but you can actually do that skip in Ocarina of Time 3D too, just in a different way.
Oh, right, yeah.
You can actually because Ocarina of Time 3D has a lot of sort of its own glitches, and one of them is that if you walk up against the wall in a certain way, you can actually put your hookshot through the wall. It's actually very simple to do. You just, like, if you walk up against the wall and press hookshot and then let go at a certain time, your hookshot pops through the wall and you can hookshot stuff on the other side. It's very simple, and for there you could have just hookshot the ladder.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways to get past that gate. Again, it skips most of the temple. So it's sort of, as a speedrunning tactic, it's very useful. It's having so many ways through it. Again, I did it because I tested it. I went through. You can go through the dungeon normally as a child, but it would take a lot more bomb hovering. I would need like 20 or 30 bombs
Yeah, and even doing that little bomb hover just across that small gap, that took quite a bit of time.
Yeah, because I had to keep pausing every time. Because while it's possible to do without pausing, it's a lot harder, because usually these are, like, you have to change inputs from one frame to another. That's why I say you try to avoid hovering as much as possible, just because it can get pretty tedious. Especially in this one, just because there's a lot of hook shotting. There's a room with sort of like invisible spikes where you collect 5 silver rupees. I don't know if you would remember it off the top of your head, but doing that you need a hook shot around the room like 5 times.
Oh yeah. I only remember that room because it took me a while to find the hook shot things.
Yeah, because one of them is invisible. So without the hook shot, because the child can't use a hook shot at all, even if you manage to equip it, it would crash the game.
Oh yeah.
Without it, it means I have to hover to pretty much every single rupee, and it takes such a long time, and it's very tedious. So while I thought about maybe doing it, like in the run, just to show off more of the temple, it's very slow. So I decided to forgo that.
Yeah, this temple isn't hugely interesting.
It's interesting, like if you're doing it quickly, like a speedrun, as an adult. Like I find that interesting. I like this temple. Getting the sculptures in it is pretty fun, but as a child, it's just so much slower. So all I'm doing here is sort of getting stuff to get into the boss room. I need a key, and I need the boss key. There's no way to skip the boss key door as a child, but there is as an adult. Like you could skip past it.
Oh, cool.
The trick that works as an adult does not work as a child. He's too small, I guess.
Oh, that's... It took me a while to figure out I needed to use Din's fire there. An embarrassingly long time.
Oh, yeah. Or you can... If you had fire arrows, you could use them too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but the way the Redeads work, if you get its attention by slashing the wall, it freezes you, and then, the wall just keeps moving. There's a lot of weird interactions there, because the way Redeads work are very strange on their own. And then the walls moving themselves are also strange. There's not a whole lot of stuff that moves that way. So, gotta get across. Again, I could bomb hover across, but try to avoid it as much as possible. So I'll actually be doing a sort of a tricky bomb two. Well, it's not too tricky, but a bomb two maneuver. Normally, you're supposed to shoot the bomb flowers across with an arrow. I believe that's the right way. I haven't done that in like ever.
You can also use the scarecrow and hookshot across to a higher ledge.
Oh, does the long shot go that far?
Yeah, I think so. That's how I did it.
Well, I didn't even know. See, if you use a bomb shoot, you can do it this way. If you send a bomb shoot at the right angle, it hits the palm flowers, and it knocks the statue down. As an adult, you would use hover boots. You can super slide or do like one of those mega flips, mega hops, and then equip them, and then there's usually enough speed to get across. As a child, I had to either do that or bomb hover. So but it's a fun little thing. Sort of a genuine use of bomb twos, actually, because there was no glitch to that or anything. It was just a proper positioning. And using the bomb twos regular mechanics.
Yeah, you also used the scarecrow quite a few times in this dungeon as well. Right, I remember.
It would be optional, because I know everything the scarecrow gets you is completely optional.
Yeah.
So, but see, there's a lot of just stuff where I wouldn't know to use a scarecrow. I don't know where all the scarecrow things are. A lot of tricks you try to do are to skip the scarecrow, in fact, so skip having to use him at all for anything. He's in a couple of dungeons for Skulltulas, but for most part, you try to avoid having to ever use him for getting them.
Yeah, it's usually when Navi disappears, and then you try and find it, and then the camera doesn't work properly, and then it's just annoying.
Yeah, but it also just takes a long time to set up. You have to do something as a child and then go back as an adult to get it. So it's something you just try to avoid. It's slow. But we're in the boss fight. It's actually a really fun boss fight. Actually pretty technical, but it goes by very quickly. I got Infinite Sword gets very fast and then stunned his hands, and then while it's infinite slashing, I just sort of stun lock him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Actually, you can kill him in one cycle. I messed it up because I'm not used to Child Link's sort of size and hitbox, but it's still pretty simple to fix. He runs right into your infinite slashing sword and then stays there until he dies, basically. And now he's already dead.
Yeah, this boss is really cool, yeah.
Yeah, and you see, you don't even need the lens normally. You could actually use spin attacks the charge, well, not charge, just the really quick spins. You know how there's that barrier when you spin, or that attack radius. If you do it right, that'll hit him, and you could keep doing that and stun him that way. It's just a little bit harder. But it's, I guess, a glitch-free way to kill him in one cycle. But using glitches, it's over really quickly. It's actually very fun and actually, probably a little bit more technical than it appeared. I had to getting Infinite Sword glitch right away is somewhat tough because he's constantly bouncing you.
Yeah.
And then even just positioning yourself in a way that would kill him in one cycle, anyways. It's sort of like I mess it up, so it's a little trick, but it's really fun to do still. Really fun to kill him so quickly. And I don't know. Yeah, he is just a really cool boss. I like his design. Really fun to fight, even normally.
He is kind of a pain with the way he just constantly bounces you around.
Yes. If you put on hover boots, it basically doesn't work.
Oh.
Like you won't bounce as much, so it's actually super helpful. So that's one way to deal with it. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I can't watch the cutscene for beating the dungeon as a child. It'll crash the game, just like Forest Temple. Not all the adult dungeons do it, but this one does, so I need to skip it, and that's all this setup is to do. I get in the right position so that when I die, the camera pans in a certain way to keep the blue warp timer going, and it triggers you getting the medallion. So you'll see a white flash, that means success, basically. And I'll have the Shadow Medallion.
Another temple down.
Yep. And one thing I will mention really quickly, again, that's a wrong warp trick. It's the same as the Force Temple. I mentioned that they can take you to another place. Only certain dungeons can do that, Dodongo's Cavern being one of them. I showed it off very briefly that I went to Gerudo Training Ground. That's because only a few temples have sort of this variable that's called like a relative cutscene modifier, where it adds to your location to take you to a cutscene. I sort of mentioned it, tried to explain it in the Force Temple. I actually thought all temples had that, but only the temples that take you somewhere else have it, which is why not every dungeon will warp you to a different dungeon.
Okay.
So, again, I had to learn that during doing stuff like this, so. If you remember when I went back as a child, I had a bottle on B as an adult. That was for a very specific reason. When I go back to adult from a child, while I had a bottle on B before, I get different stuff on my B slot. So you see right now I have Farore's Wind.
Yeah, of course.
On my B button. This is called Bottle Adventure. It's sort of the reverse Bottle Adventure. When you go adult, it checks your C right button and will put something on your B based on that. So I use basically Deku Nuts. I have 13 Deku Nuts, and that gives you item number 13, which is Farore's Wind.
Cool.
I'll actually use Farore's Wind in the next episode, and I'll be doing some really cool stuff. So, but for now, that's the end. Thanks everyone for watching, and thanks Crosspiece for joining me.
Thanks for having me.